Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. I guess I say that every time, don't I? That's just like the intro that I always use, so maybe I'll switch it up next time. But hey, it's awesome to have you. I really appreciate that you guys are listening to this, and I'm thrilled and honored to have an opportunity to speak into your life every week. Today, I want to talk to you about the process I go through when I have a call with somebody about what business to start, because I feel like I could turn this into a course, and this just being able to talk this out with you guys on the podcast will give me an opportunity to kind of, cultivate those thoughts and put them out in a way to see, like, is this valuable in a course? I know this is going to be valuable stuff here, but what can I take what I do in a one-on-one call and turn it into a course? So let me just walk you through the process. Tell you a quick story. Last week, I was on a call with a friend from church, and she's a registered nurse and has a couple of teenage daughters, and she's interested in earning some money online or offline, whatever. She just wants to have some freedom. She wants to be able to do some ministry things and wants to be able to have the freedom that, if one day she could quit her job or even take off time from work, and she has a business that's making money so that she could do what she wants to do with her girls. And so it was totally a blank slate. She had no idea. This was fun because she didn't know what I do, what my background was. And so we could just start from ground zero. I told her a little about my background and what I've done with e-commerce and how that's one of the best business models for people to get started. But I want to take you through some of the questions that I asked her, because this is what I would do if I was in a live class or doing a course with people who were like, gosh, Ryan, I want to have a business. I want to do something. I want to create that time freedom. I want to make extra money for whatever purpose it is, whatever reason it is, but I just don't know where to start or what to do. Maybe you have ideas already, but you're not sure how to get them launched. I feel like I could put a course together like that would allow me to help a lot more people than just the folks that I have one-on-one calls with. So let me just run through this. Let's just go through, imagine, because you may be in this exact position where you have some ideas, or you want to start a business and you just don't know what path to go down, because there are so many opportunities out there to make money, and how do you know which one's right for you? And so that's what I would want to take people through that process. And maybe if it's in some type of a group, they could ask questions and we could speak into that. But I start at the top, and with her, I was asking her basically, how quickly do you need to make money? And for her, it wasn't quick, because she has a full-time job. So it's not like this business has to happen right now. And so I kind of start at the very, very top with 2 very distinct paths, A versus B. Path A is like, Ryan, I got to make money right now. My family is struggling, or I just lost my job and I got to do something right now and make some money right now. Here are some of the things that I've told people in the past. Now, those of you listening, you have awesome ideas. I'd love to hear them. What would you tell somebody in this position that said maybe they're in a hurry to get something happening? I always tell people, and this is what I told her. Now she's not in that position, but if she told me that she needed money quickly, here's what I would say. I'd say, go sell something. Find something around your house that you can put on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something like that. Things that are already sitting around there that you're not using anymore, that other people would find valuable. I walked her through how to list something on eBay, how to look for completed listings. Because on eBay, I could take this, mug that I'm using right now and I could put it on sale for $100. Well, it's not going to sell for $100. It's not worth $100. But so you need to look for the sold listings. And so I walked her how to do that. And then I said, so basically, you could do that on the things that are in your house, but then you may have neighbors and friends that have things that they would love to get out of there. that they don't know how to sell online. So you can do the consignment model. So we talked about how to, get those people's stuff for free listed on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or whatever marketplace you want, and split the profits with them. I love that model. A lot of my students have done that. Well, they're starting literally from zero. They either don't have money to invest or didn't want to invest any money. They would use the consignment model to get up and running. So we talked about that. Another option too, I find can work quickly, is get a coaching client. Now this may seem crazy, but let's say that people already are coming to you for advice for something. Maybe you lost a lot of weight, and you've got some, you started working out and you got a plan, and people are noticing and they're asking, how did you do that? And you love helping people that way. Well, I think you could easily go onto Facebook, a post on your personal timeline and say, hey, I know a lot of you are asking me these types of questions, and I really enjoy helping people, and I want to start coaching some of you. And so I'll, if direct message me, comment below if you're interested in becoming a client or want to jump on a quick call with me to talk about what coaching might look like. I maybe do something like a free 15-minute call, 30-minute call, just to talk to folks, and at the end bring up coaching. But you could get some clients pretty quickly just by posting on Facebook. And the other thing I've thought about too was a service-based business. Maybe you've got a power washer, or you're good at painting, or you want to rake some leaves or mow some lawns. Those are some things you could do very quickly. And these are all things that can turn into bigger business later too. It's not like it's something you do in the interim. It could be in the interim just to get you kind of, back on your feet again, get you back in the positive. And then you decide what business you really want to do. But any of these could turn into long-term businesses. So I've got sell stuff, coaching, get some coaching clients, or do some service-based business type of things. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are some things that you would tell somebody that needs money quickly? Now, for my friend, she was in the other boat, really, but she's got a full-time job, so she's got some time to ramp this up. She's not in a hurry. She wants to build something that, the things that were important for her were something that she and her girls could do together. So where I actually ended up pointing her to and talking more deeper about was an eBay business. I asked her, do you like going to garage sales? She says, we love to do that. So I said, man, this would be perfect for you guys. You could just go to garage sales on Saturdays or whenever, and go together and do this business together. And it's an opportunity for you and your girls to build something at the same time, to spend time together. And she loved that idea, and I think she's going to try it. And that's the other thing too. It's not like, if she decides to do an eBay business, that she's stuck. Any of the things that we talk about, especially online, can be pivoted very quickly or quit very quickly to do something different, to try something different. But I want to talk to you about, like, how do you make those decisions? So with her, we actually came up with two very good options for her that seemed to fit in line with what she wanted to do. But let me take you through some of the things that, on a typical call that I might have with somebody, either in person or on Zoom, what are the questions I might ask them? Because if I was putting together a course, I'd probably have a section like with a download, a workbook or worksheet where people could, sit and think and pray about these answers, because this really will really help you get clarity on the direction that you should go. So real quick recap at the very, very top. Question: do you need to make money now or no? And if it's now, then those three things that I just mentioned. If no, then let's start the process of thinking, okay, what business do I really want to build? And so I usually start with, what do you want your life to look like? I mean, certainly you could start a business, but you may end up, let's say that you, this is an example. I've talked with a friend of mine on a podcast who was a photographer. And he and his wife got into wedding photography, and they were really good at it, and they did really, really well. But they found, my goodness, we're always gone on the weekends and spending time away from our boys. And this is just not the lifestyle that we want to have. And so think ahead about that. Like, do you want to be working weekends or not? What do you want your life to look like? When would you want to be working? And let's fit the business around that. Let's not start a business and pigeonhole your life into that situation. Let's take your life. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your ideal day to look like? I actually have a download I can offer again on that. Make a note to do that. The ideal day download, where it just helps you walk through, like, what do I really want my days to look like? And then you get that ideal picture, and then let's build a business that supports that, not the other way around, because you don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, I just started a new job and now you feel like you're chained to your business. It's like another job, and you built something that you just don't enjoy. So let's figure out what you want your life to look like, and let's build a business that will allow you to live that life. Okay. So think about that. I mean, as you're listening, maybe even take a pause this and think about, okay, yeah, I mean, I want to start a business, but rather than thinking about what business it is, like what do I want my life to be? And once you got that kind of answered, that'll probably maybe even help you narrow down some of the choices, because you're listening to this and you don't have any ideas about business. There are probably some ideas that you have already. You may not know which way to go, but you probably have thought about some things. You probably thought about some different types of business models that might be fun to explore. Well, which ones of those, let's say you have 5 of them, which one of those will allow you to live the life that you just described that you would want to live? And if only one of them does, that's one I would start with. If 3 of them do, it at least helps you narrow down your choices. And then I love to take people through the process of just some clarifying questions. And I want to read these slowly because I want you to take some time to just really think about and process these, because this is what a lot of the types of questions that I ask people when I'm on a call with them. And there's not in any particular order here. Who do you feel called to serve? Who are those people that you love helping? Who do you just have a burden in your heart for? Is there, it might be for a situation to where, okay, so somebody I just had a call with very recently, last week, I think, but I've been on multiple calls with her. She's a missionary. And so I'll use her as an example for some of the rest of these. But she is a missionary, and she feels called to help people who want to get into the mission field, like that aren't sure what it's like, that just need some resources. So she feels called to help those people. Who is that for you? Who's the person that you just feel like, I want to help this person? And it could be somebody like you. If you're a mom, it might be other moms. If you're a dad, it might be other dads. Who do you feel like you are called to serve? All right. What are you passionate about? What's that thing that just gets you going, get your fire burning, that you're just excited about? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? So I was at church this last weekend, and Max Lucado was actually there preaching. And he said, where your passion is and what you are good at, what they align, that's a really good indication of what you might be called to do. I thought that was really good. I took notes on that. But so what are you really good at? And he mentioned this as well, and I've mentioned this before. It's like, to you, it might be, well, that's so easy. That's no big deal. Everybody knows how to do that. That's so easy. Well, it's not. It's easy for you because you were gifted in that. That could be your gift. That could be something that just, it comes natural to you. And so you think because it comes natural to you that it's easy for everybody else, and therefore there's not an opportunity to monetize that. Well, that's not right. That's wrong. You have that gift. You have the ability to do that thing, and other people will pay you to learn how to do that thing. And so that's just it's your head start, it's your jumps, it's your advantage, it's one of your unique advantages, the thing that you are good at. Could you take that and turn that into a business? I'd say yes, and we'll talk about some examples. What do people already ask you advice for? Right? What do they come to you for? What are you known for amongst your friends, amongst your relatives, amongst your peers? What do they just, when they think about you, what do they think about? If you would ask, hey, coworker, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, brother, sister, spouse, kids, what do you think I'm good at? What do you see in me? When you talk to other people about me, what do you say that I'm good at? That's a good clue too, because sometimes we just have these blinders on. And I mentioned this before, we can't read our own label. And so we think it, oh gosh, I'm normal. There's nothing special about me. That's not true. You have something. There is something that you are good at, you are better at than most people. And that could be the thing that turns into a business for you. What is the thing that you can talk about for hours? Something that just, you don't have to study, you don't have to prep for, you just know it. It could be a hobby, it could be a passion of yours, something you studied for a very long time, something you just done over and over and over and over again. It just comes natural to you, or maybe you've learned it by experience or study? What's that thing you can talk about for hours? All right, here's one. Here's a fun one. What makes you upset? Like just, oh man, just makes you angry to think about, or you can get on your soapbox about. Like you just, it's just a topic, just something going on in the world that you maybe a problem you feel called to help, but it's something that just makes you angry when you think about it, riles you up, and all these questions are just clarifying questions that may help you get one step closer to thinking, yeah, it's this. And so maybe that's the topic that you create a podcast about, or you write a book about, the thing that makes you upset, a problem in the world that you feel like you can solve, and it maddens you, angers you that it's not better. And you just have an opinion about it. All right. What energizes you? So for example, like when I get off these calls with people and I'm helping, speaking life into them, seeing their dreams and helping them realize that, that dream that's on your heart, I can help you activate that and put that into action. I help them come away with, some clarity. I have them come away with some action steps on, what I would do if I was in your shoes with that dream that's in your heart. My goodness, those one-on-one brainstorming calls for me, they're just so life-giving for me. It literally energizes me. I love having those conversations. Now, if I walked away from those like, oh my gosh, that was the worst call ever, or just draining, and like every time I do it, I don't look forward to it and it's draining, that would be a clue that would not be the thing for me. But what just, oh my gosh, I love doing this thing. And after you do it, you're so excited, you're so pumped up. And it probably revolves around helping somebody. Like if you're into fitness and you help somebody lose weight and they just sent you a success story or a picture of what, that of their transformation, it probably excites you and you want to do that again. I want to help somebody else again. What is that for you? What energizes you? What, after you get done doing that thing, you're more energized than you are depleted of energy. What's that dream in your heart? For some of you, you know what it is immediately. You're like, yeah, that thing that I keep putting on the shelf. Like I've had that dream for 20 years and I just never done anything about it, or afraid to jump out, or whatever the reason. Don't worry about it. This is excuse. Let's get over that today. But what is that dream in your heart? That thing that you just know deep inside, like, yeah, I'm supposed to write that book. I need to write that book. And for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. Well, that ends now. How can I help you move forward? So what's that dream on your heart? What's on your vision board? So I've talked about vision boards. I have one. What's that thing in your vision board that you're like, some of the things on your vision board, you may like, I have no idea in the world how I'm ever going to get that. That's going to be just a total God thing. Some of you might look at like, yeah, that one, I know what I need to do next. Or I think I know what I need to do next on that. Maybe it's a money amount, for example. You're like, gosh, if I had a business, I could hit that. Well, let's start that business. Let's do something about that. All right. So those are just some all questions that I would want to take people through, and I do take people through and I would do it much slower, and I would have them, write the answers down. If we were doing it live, if this was a course, I'd say, stop the video and, write those down. And maybe you can even do that with this podcast. Pause and think about it, write them down. If you're in a place you can write, think through these questions, because it will really help you get some clarity as to your next direction, your next step. So what do you do with that? You've got, after you these clarifying questions, you probably have been able to narrow down some of the ideas. Maybe it's giving you some new ideas of business, business ideas for you. And so let's say you've got 3 of them. You're like, gosh, I feel like I could do all 3 of these, and I'm just not really sure which one to start or which one to test first. I'd say, first of all, relax. It's not like if you pick one, you're stuck. But let me take you through my framework of what I love to help people through if they have a few ideas of things that they want to get started and they just don't know which one to do first. I love, and I didn't get this, it's not from me. I think it was Darren Hardy, who I heard this from. Use fast, easy, and profitable. All right. Take it through that lens. So which one of these 3, if you have 3, if you have 10, whatever, it doesn't matter. Which one would be the fastest to get started? Okay. Which one is the easiest to get started? Like you don't have as many hoops to jump through. It's easier to test this thing, easier to try it out. especially like if things that don't cost you any money to get started or very, very little investment. I mean, most of these ideas that you're probably thinking about, especially if it's an online type of business, it's not going to require very much money, if anything at all. And that's what I love about this. Guys, the barrier has just been so lowered in the last several years of, being able to start a business. Imagine if we're in 1980, for example, and you want to start a business, there's no internet. Your business is probably like door-to-door sales, or you have to open up a brick and mortar and you got to go down to the bank and get a loan and maybe use your house as collateral and borrow money against your house, and it's very risky. And nowadays you can start a business on your phone. It's crazy how much easier it is, and just to be able to reach the world with your message through this device here. And so think about, what's the fastest one that I can get done? What's the easiest? What's going to be the cheapest? So fast, easy. And then the last one is profitable. Which one has the most profit potential? If you can organize them, those 3 to 5 ideas, whatever number you have, into fast, easy, and profitable, filter them through that, you should come out with one that, 1 or 2, you're like, oh, these. And then if you get down to 1 or 2, just pick one and try it. And, I just feel like some people just don't take action because they don't know what to do, but just pick one and do it. Start taking action on it. But now that you've got your idea that you want to try first, what do you do with that? Well, let me give you an example. So a friend of mine who is a missionary, I mentioned earlier, she loves other missionaries, wants to help other missionaries and potential missionaries. She wants to be a resource for people who feel called to the mission field but have no idea where to start. So I've been talking to her about a course/membership community. And so what do you do to get people, if that's the direction that she goes, like, what do you kind of do first? You don't have to necessarily go right to a membership. Now, if you've got the list of people, or you can partner with somebody that already has a list of potential missionaries, you could go right to a membership. But let's think through like what this path might be in order to build up an audience. Because if you're going to promote something like a course, you need an audience to promote it to. And so this is why at the very top of the podcast I was mentioned, do you need to make money now or later? Because some of these things may take some time. It may not be instant to build out an audience. If you don't have an audience already, you don't have an email list already, this could take time. And I know that's not what you want to hear. We want everything quickly, and we want it now. I want to be making money online today. Actually, I want to make it yesterday. But that's typically not the way it works. Now, there are ways to fast track this, and we can talk about that. Especially joint venture partnerships. You find somebody that has a list of missionaries or potential missionaries that you can partner with and work with, and they are essentially an affiliate for you. That's a really great way to kick it off much faster than building your own audience. And so I'd be happy to help you out with that and what that looks like. But for this person, she does have an organization she could potentially partner with, but we're going to pretend for now that that's not an option. What she's going to do, her plan is not even, that organization is not even on her plan, because she just wants to know, like, what do I feel like I need to do to kick this thing off? And so some of the ideas for her, actually, real quick before that, is I would ask you this question too, is do you like to write or talk? Because if you say you love to write, I'd say let's start creating content around this. Start a blog, start posting on social media about your topic. Just start sharing your knowledge, and people will be attracted to you that care about this stuff. Maybe you start a Facebook group and you start posting in there. If you love to talk, start a podcast. Now you can kind of do both. You could take, if you like to talk, you could take that and turn it into a blog as well. But she is interested in starting a podcast around this topic. So I think we're going to help her launch a podcast that shares about, what it's like to be a missionary, share some stories, share some tips, share some just things you need to think through before going onto the mission field. She's going to be posting on social media about these topics. Now, I have a really good friend on the podcast. It's episode 185, I believe it's back in February of this year, Vincent Puglisi, who talked about the 2 things that you need to do are content and connections. And he actually wrote a book about this. And he used to live in Pittsburgh area. And he talked about the 3 rivers there, and how the 2 came in to a point, and then the third one got bigger because the 2 fed into it. And so he likens that to business, where you got to create content around your topic and you got to make connections around your topic. So for my missionary friend, this could look like starting a podcast, posting on social media. She's creating content, she's building trust. It's not something that happens immediately, but she starts that ball rolling, starts putting out content related to the topic that she's passionate about and the people that she wants to help. And then she starts making connections at the same time, like talking to missionaries, helping them, getting on calls with them, making connections with organizations, with the gatekeepers that might have those people that have her people in their audience, just getting to know them, getting on their radar, serving their audience. Maybe she gets into a Facebook group with missionaries and just starts helping. She's not going to go in there and say, "Hey guys, I'm here. I have a membership I'm going to be starting. You need to come listening to me. Come listen to me." No, you're just coming in as a servant. How can I help these missionaries? Because number one, it'll give you some clarity about, are these really my people? You'll start having conversations with them, and you'll just start to get that clarity, and it'll either like, yes, this is my place. I love to help missionaries. Or it might be like, you know what? After I've been doing this for a little while, I'm not so sure, and allow you to pivot before you even started that business. So content and connections. Who do you need to connect with? Start connecting with them. Go out to dinner with them. Have coffee with them. Get on Zoom calls with them. Serve their audience. Find the people that you feel called to serve and go ahead and start serving them. Bless them however you can with the knowledge that you have. Point them to the right resources. So you're putting out content, making connections, and then at some point you're going to turn on that last river here, and that's going to be where you can monetize it. So that's where she might, hey, now I got a list of 100 people that I regularly communicate with. Maybe I have a Facebook group now of people that I'm connecting with, and just giving them awesome knowledge, and I want to go further with, I want to go deeper with them, and that's where you can offer like a paid membership, a paid course or something. So it really just comes down to getting that clarity around who you feel called to serve. What do you feel like you're here to do? What comes easy to you? What comes natural to you? All of that can be turned into a business. There are people that will pay you for that knowledge that you have. And so I hope this has been helpful. I want to just, I know a lot of information. I think if I was putting this into a course, it would be probably broken up into several sections with homework and all that. But, think about, I think those questions are just really, really good clarity type questions to help you narrow down the things that you feel called to do, and even open up your eyes to what you can do. Because I've seen so many just what you would think are crazy ways people are making money online about the topics that they're talking about that turn into income for them. I know of a membership around migraines, people that have created a membership community. People pay them monthly to learn how to not have a migraine anymore. Melaine and I, when Callan was 5 months old, it was a one-time course, but they could have had a membership because it could have gone into the toddler years and taught us more. But we paid, I think, $200 or $300 for a course about helping him sleep through the night. And it worked immediately. Amazing. Well worth the investment. I know people do memberships around. My friend Nancy Alexander does a membership around wreath making and how to sell wreaths on Etsy, and how to do crafty stuff. And so there's literally probably about any niche you tell me, there's probably a way to turn that into an income and serve those people that have that same passion as you, or want to get into that same thing that you're doing. But it's really important, once you get that narrowed down, is just to start creating content and making connections. And I give Vincent the credit for this, because it's just so key that before you turn on the spigot of trying to make an income, you've got to be putting out content. You've got to get to have that know, like, and trust value, and then you've got to be connecting with people. But then there are ways to speed up the process. It's not like it's totally up to you to build that email list. There are ways to make it happen faster. There are what you can do, paid advertising. Once you've got a course or a book, you've got a membership, you can start advertising, get more people, and make the process happen much, much faster. So don't think this takes years and years and years. It doesn't have to. You can do this process much quicker. But just start creating that content, make those connections with those people, and also help you get clarity about, is this really the thing that I want to do? So I hope that's helpful. I would love your take on some of the things that you would tell somebody to do that needs to make income quickly? Also, are there any clarifying questions that you think would be helpful to have somebody go through to narrow down, like, I've got these ideas and I'm trying to filter them through these questions, decide which one comes out at the end as the ones that I can test. And again, you can test these things quickly. It's so cool in this world of online marketing and all this, with the internet, you can test ideas very quickly. And you're not married to anyone. You can easily pivot and change, and you probably end up pivoting anyway. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck to this idea if I don't like it. You're not. There's always opportunity. And that's the problem. Sometimes there's too much opportunity. But I hope this has been helpful for you. Feel free to email me, ryan@ryanrieger.com, with any questions you have, suggestions you have, because I do think this could be a course at some point. But just thinking about how I can help the most people. I can't get on calls with every single person, but how if I put out some type of a course or workshop that went through this process, I feel like that could be helpful and give people the clarity they need on how to move forward. So love you guys. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.